Namo Yidafat. Hello and welcome to Sৰীষ্টNG Đኢና I Sৰীষ্টNG. On this special episode we have during this Lunar New Year in 2025, I would like to wish everyone wholeheartedly chúc mừng năm mới in the year of the snake. Myself is Sৰীষ্টNG and this is with me my Dharma brother, Nguyen. And on this episode we would just like to share with you all our thoughts and our hopes about what's coming into the temple and how we can practice the Lunar New Year. And so first, can I introduce my brother to give a short opening?
Yes. Well, first of all, Happy New Year to everyone, to all the guests on the show and for every person. So what we have is the upcoming New Year, the Lunar New Year more precisely, and the year of the snake. So Lunar New Year just mark the end of the winter and beginning of the spring. So it's the day for everything to bloom, all the flowers, insects, and for the animals to get out from the winter den and start a new life. So for all the human, everyone to clean up the house, decorate on new items they bought and start a new life. And for all the kids, they go to their grandparents' house, the neighbors, and to say Happy New Year's and receive some red envelope for the Lucky New Year's. And for the adult, they greet each other to wish them a healthier life and a better year, so they can leave all the unhappiness behind and start a new life for the new year. So that's why in the Lunar New Year, people always wear red and everything's red, because red is considered to be lucky. So that's why people see all the house, they decorate from the family altar to the Buddha altar to the house. Everything they put on is a red color to represent the new kind of like lucky color. So that's how a very simple explanation of the new year. And can I invite Sৰীষ্টNG to give more information?
Thank you very much for explaining, Brother Nguyen. So what I gather is that for the Tết holiday coming up next week on the 29th of January, it signifies a day of renewal and change. And so as we head from winter to spring, this great change allows hope and opportunity. And so I thank my brother for sharing that. It emphasizes us to have a new start, to have hope, happiness, prosperity, and health. And the ways how we practice this in our daily lives is that first, it's a tradition to clean and tidy up our house, our room, our space. And even from this practice, it touches upon the Buddha's teaching, and that if we were to practice having a pure mind, or pure speech, or pure body, the first part of where we are in our place every single day is in our home, is in our space. So it's a wonderful way to understand and appreciate the tradition first of having our space, our room, clean and tidy, so that when we have a new year, everything is fresh and renewed. Another point my brother made was about having this time to gather together as a family. And this is a wonderful reflection upon community. The community of our family is the very first community that we have. And the Buddha taught us something called filial piety. Filial piety is when we love, respect, and honor our parents, our grandparents, and our ancestors. So it's a tradition during this time of renewal to gather, to show love, to show happiness, to share traditional food. It is also a time for us to receive many gifts through the red envelopes from our elder parents and our uncles, aunts, and grandparents. So as I see through this giving and offering of the material for our parents and grandparents, I see in return what's expected of children and grandchildren is to study well, to do good in school, and to pay back the return of the money or the envelope that our parents and grandmothers had given us. Another point that my Dharma brother has given was that during this Lunar New Year, it's a time for us to experience happiness, health, and joy. And that is one of the ways we wish and pray as Buddhists, because one of the forms of prayer is to wish for material things, but the next two levels of prayer is to wish for emotional states and spiritual attainment as well. And so I hope that if any Buddhists or spiritual followers are listening, that it is important for us to, and foremost, to pray for health, peace, happiness, and joy, and to continue our path to attain enlightenment, to continue our path as a bodhisattva. Another note is to see that in this new year of the snake, the year of the snake can be very scary. A lot of people have fear of snakes, and it's very well warranted because snakes are seen as very venomous and scary creatures. A bite from a snake can cause a lot of harm. But truly, if we see a snake, and if we do no harm, if we truly allow it to slither away, it is a way for us to see as a metaphor in this upcoming new year. As us located in America, there's a lot of change happening. We recently had fires ravaging Los Angeles. We recently had a change in position of political power. So there's a lot of change and uncertainty happening. So I believe this year of the snake is allow us to realize, to practice the Buddha's teaching on being heedful, to see what are the consequences of us taking action now, and to trying our best, because it is the Lunar New Year, to have hope and practice as best we can to reform ourselves and to be better ourselves for the future. And so this is some of the points I would like to share today. If any other things my brother would like to emphasize or talk about, please.
So, well, I just want to add in a few more details. What my brother said about the snakes, that's true, but there's also some other different perspective how people see the snake. And especially this year, it's kind of remarkable to remind me. And out of 12 zodiac signs, the snake has a very unique ability, which is, the snake will be for growth. It stretches the skin and to grow stronger and bigger and more healthier. So I think for us, we can use that as the mark to remember. Even the new year come, we can just shred all the negative emotions, all the unhappiness and satisfaction, like something that bothered us from the past year, we can just leave behind, and then we can just start to develop a better behavior, a more positive action and unwholesome action for the future, so we can generate the positive karma. And just like the Buddha always taught that, we should always clean up our mind. We should leave all the trash out. Just like how we clean up our house during the new year. So we should to discard all the trash out, and then to collect all the good, healthy, and positive and wholesome thoughts, actions for the future. So I think I must put it like the year of the dragon more. But I think the year of the snake is very uniqueness. Some people call the snake as a small dragon. So we can just observe that thoughts, and we can just make a better development. And I just want to ask a few more details about that.
Sure. Thank you so much for sharing. And as you had given a fresh perspective about the snake, and to recognize that it's its nature to shed and to renew itself every few times when it's getting older. That's a wonderful thing to see, that in nature, as a snake is in continual renewal and slithering around, that once it sheds its skin, it is discarded away. And giving this positive perspective on the snake, it allows us to see into ourselves that although many families had hoped for their children to be born in the year of a strong dragon, there are many great qualities in what a snake has too. The ability to continually grow once it's uncomfortable is the core foundation in all spiritual teachings. as we continue to see in the nature of a snake to grow naturally and to observe those changes, it is also a great quality in the human being to continually grow, experience change, and discarding the past in terms of what has happened that was negative, and to keep the experiences that allows them to have peace, happiness, and joy. So coming in from the wonderful reflection on which my brother had shared is to continually see a snake in a positive way, as this creature is generally quite harmless, but through a lot of history and culture and through anthropology, the snake is seen as something that's quite evil, quite scary, quite manipulative, and to see and change your perspective to see that all creatures, in a sense, if we don't have a sense of harm to them, they will not want to bite back. And another sense is that if it's in constant renewal, it is something that is in constant growth. And us as spiritual people, as humans, constantly need this reminder, as that if we're experiencing difficulties, especially during the strength and power of what had happened during the year of the dragon, it is time to shed anew, to have a renewal sense of skin, and to take action each and every day to reform ourselves better as human beings for ourselves, from our family, and for all. And so is there anything you would like to share about the year of the snake or traditions we have in our Vietnamese culture, or anything else you would like to give?
Well, I would say, if we think of it, many people, they fear snake, but if we follow the Buddha teaching, we practice loving kindness, the snake, it could be a guardian to us. Like we can see from the example, during the Buddha time when he meditated under the Bodhi tree, the snake king came in to protect him from the rain, from the harmful environment. The snake king protect him from rain and wind and everything. And we can see from other countries like Thailand and Cambodia, they have snake represent for the loyal family. Like the temple over there, they have snakes to represent the power. Some also the palace, they have a snake symbol. And in India, they have the snake called Naga, which is the king of the snakes. So and some other religions, they have a snake represented by a powerful, like the ancient European religions. They have a snake coiled around the earth, to represent how powerful an animal can be. So sometimes, from a human perspective, we see it, snake is weak, but the snake can be quite powerful if we look at it in a different way. So I think the snake can be a good example and a symbol for anyone to be born in this year. And snake also represent wisdom. So because how snake is very intelligent if we observe it carefully. So I think the year of snake will live a very remarkable, positive to the people who are born this year, and to the future who will be born in this year. And they will be very effectively being serious in the thinking and behaviors.
Thank you very much for sharing more of a great positive perspective on the snake. And so as we further see from my Dharma brother sharing, is that although the snake is quite small, it is quite powerful. The venom of the snake has the potential to kill at least one or many elephants, even though the size is probably not more than a few dozen pounds. And so although it has the potential to be quite deadly, if the snake is well tamed, it can serve as a protective guardian, such as my brother was sharing, and that a snake that loves its master would be able to guard, such as a great cobra, from the elements, from rain, from air, from the things that fall upon your head, allowing the Buddha to become enlightened. And many other mythical snake creatures, such as nagas, are the ones that gave us the great teachings of Nagarjuna, which allowed us to understand the profound teaching of emptiness, to see phenomenon of reality as not nothing, but as something, but not as something, but as nothing. And it would take a lifetime or many lifetimes to contemplate and to understand the great teachings of what the Naga ancestors has given us in our Mahayana tradition. And it was a great point to emphasize and to see in the Eastern perspective that snakes are quite celebrated, regarded, highly valued. And so it would be my hope that any children being born into this year of the snake, that many parents rejoice and are very happy and are very proud that if they're reborn into the year of the snake, there will be a child that's quite powerful, that's quite strong, the potential to renew itself each and every moment of growth, whether it's emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and physically. And as the Buddha values, one of the most highest of all with compassion is wisdom. And so along with compassion and wisdom and the ability to create change, those are the only ingredients that is necessary to gradually change and evolve and to see our true nature. And so I believe that the snake is a very auspicious zodiac animal coming up into this new year in January 2025. And my hope is that through the nature of the snake, the positive qualities and the qualities to be heedful for us to practice this and to recognize it diligently in this new year, to see, to recognize danger, but to also see and recognize opportunities. Because quite frankly, in America and much of the world, we're in quite a big crisis. And so if you look for the path of good, righteousness, skillful action, you'll be able to live compassionately, but both wisely in this life, to not only benefit yourself, continue to grow spiritually, continue to nourish and have the growth with the family that is around you, to continue to grow and nourish your schoolmates, your co-workers, and extend this hope for change, and also this hope to see danger as a way to guide you towards this new year. Is there any other points you would like to address with the snake, or is there any other things you would like to say as a way for us to practice, or what we can do in this world today, brother?
Yes. I just have in my mind I have something to relate to snake actually. You know how we mentioned the snake shed the skin and to develop further. Just how I just remember in the 37 factors of enlightenment and the 4 great efforts we could practice, which is if the unwholesome actions are already developed, then we should discard it, we should stop it and remove the root. And if the unwholesome action has not started, then we shouldn't let it take root in our mind. And then if we has not done any positive action or wholesome actions, then we should do it diligently. And we already did have planted the positive root and positive actions in our mind, then we should further enhance that development to make it growth stronger and better. So I just kind of related to the snake, how the snake discard all life and to develop a newer life. So I think that's the 4 efforts in the 37 factors enlightenment can be very helpful if we just relate it to that connection.
Thank you very much for that wonderful Dharma reflection. Yes, it's very true to see, and that if we were to contribute to change in ourselves, an effort or viraya or energy, it should be the right one. And so as my brother was emphasizing, the Buddha taught in the 37 factors of awakening or enlightenment, the 4 correct ways to apply our energy, our effort towards the good. And so the first one is to avoid creating unwholesome action or unwholesome deeds, unwholesome habits. Avoid doing the bad. Second is, if any bad, unwholesome, evil states, habits, things arise, put an end to it. Don't let any arise, and if any arise, put an end to it. This is through unwholesome action, through body, speech, and mind. So the Buddha emphasizes, first and foremost, not let any unwholesome deeds, action arise, and put an end to it if they do arise. The next is, after you have avoided doing evil, unwholesome actions, try your best to contribute to doing positive, wholeful deeds. The way you do this is to arise qualities which are good, wholesome, benefit yourself and others. And if you have done things such as generosity, giving, whether it's materially, emotionally, or through peace or spiritual giving of Dharma, you continue to do so. And so this is a way for you to understand and practice a way to do positive change each and every day, so that in the year of the snake, it can be going towards the right direction, towards the middle way of the Buddha. And so once again, on Sunday Songpa, for the special episode of Lunar New Year, may you all, the viewers, everyone around us and this world, may have health, peace, happiness, and joy. May all your aspirations, hopes, dreams, and vows be acquired, attained, accomplished, and fulfilled in this lifetime. We thank you very much for continuing to follow us with this episode, and we hope that the blessings continue from our sharing here today. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật.
Tùy khắc màu